Did you ever think you could win $1 million fishing? Well, that's exactly what the top prize money was back in 2007 when the FLW Forrest Wood Cup was held here at Lake Ouachita. In 2011, the tourney is back with more than 100 of the world's top anglers in competition. And in case you didn't know, in the world of spectator sports, fishing is fast gaining in the ranks of NASCAR. And that, my friends, is no joke.
Just right outside of Hot Springs is Lake Ouachita. It sits in the Ouachita Mountains. It's known as one of the top 3 lakes in the nation for its beautiful, deep, clear water. And as far as I'm concerned, it's #1 in beauty. It's the most beautiful lake that you'll ever be on. There's no houses or anything around it. It's all surrounded by national forest. And around the marinas, you have rental barges that you can go and enjoy the views and the scenery out on the lake. You've got jet skis, you've got houseboat rentals. There's all kinds of things to do. When you're sitting back and you're looking at those mountains and you get to just seeing everything from that water view, it's like I say, it's always been ranked as one of the most beautiful lakes in the entire nation. So it's a gorgeous lake.
In 2007, Bryant native Scott Suggs became the first angler ever to take the $1 million prize money in bass fishing after being on the tour for only 2 years.
You know, I've fished Lake Ouachita my entire life. I got to fish with my grandfather when he was alive. I got to fish with uncles. I got to fish with my dad, mainly my dad. He always had me on the lake. And I had some great memories on Lake Ouachita with family and everything else, but some of the most memorable times was in 2007 when I won the Forrest Wood Cup. Not only was I able to win it on my most favorite lake, but I was able to win it in front of my mom, my dad, my family, and friends over there, and to be able to have that and be able to share it with that many people. We had over 14,000 at the weigh-in the last day. And people that I fished against in tournaments over there my entire life, they're cheering and backing for me and everything. I'll never be able to top it. It was an experience of a lifetime.
Named after the founder of Ranger Boats, Forrest L. Wood, FLW Outdoors began in 1996. It is now seen in more than 500 million households worldwide.
Yeah, our sport's growing in leaps and bounds, you know, and it started 15 years ago really with Erwin Jacobs as far as the FLW side, and it has really exploded since then. You know, since Walmart came on board and brought a lot of our sponsors with us, man, it's just grown in leaps and bounds. I think it's going to continue to grow. You know, you can see where we're at today, where we were 15 years ago. I can't imagine what it's going to be like 15 years from now. And so, you know, we came through the recession just like everybody else did last year. And I really feel like we've weathered the storm. We came through it. You know, Walmart's back. Kellogg's is back. I'm so thankful to be fishing for Kellogg's and represent the company like you know, that produces the products that they produce. And I'm just really excited about the future of bass fishing. You know, you got kids out there now that are in high school and college and really want to do this. And I think there's a big future out there for everyone.
Yes! 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 Woohoo! That's a better fish.
Greg Bohannon of Rogers has been on the FLW Tour since 2007.
It's a pretty good way to make a living, you know. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of long hours. You know, we practice daylight to dark. We have 3 official practice days, and then we, you know, once the tournament begins, it's a 4-day event. So, you know, it's a lot of hard work, but that's the work we've chose, but it is a lot of fun. It's a fun way to make a living. Oh, please, there's a good one.
Not too shabby there.
Well, there's some guys right now looking for that fish right now out there on the water. That's what a lot of the guys are doing in the tournament right now. It's, you know, they're really focused on brim beds. Brim are spawning this time of year, and these big guys want to come up, and they want to have lunch on the brim. And what I understand, talking to people yesterday, that, you know, late in the day is when the better fish were biting. That is a money fish there. That's a good one. probably a 4.5.
What are the odds of catching one like that in midday on a hot day like this?
This time of year, this lake's a little bit unique. It has such a big brim population. The brim beds up in the day really get, the bass really get up there on the bank shallow and during the day, and it's really a great pattern on a lake that has a big brim population. So you wouldn't think you could throw a topwater in the middle of the day, but this lake's a little bit unique. It's got a great brim population, and up during the day, that's when it gets even better. That's a really nice fish. And so you throw something, you know, it's a small brim imitation topwater, and work it, you know, kind of sporadically down the bank. And I think the bass think it's a, you know, wounded brim that's coming off one of those beds, and they just come up for a free meal. This is a great lake. You know, Lake Ouachita, you know, in the state of Arkansas, I think it's one of our better lakes. It's got a good population of fish. Plus, it's got, you know, it's got the big fish. They catch some 10-pounders here sometimes, and so it's a really, really good lake. It's a nice fish. Probably close to 4, 3 3/4, close to 4 pounds.
You know, that's the difference between a pro and an amateur like me. I fished 20 years and I have yet still to catch one like that.
Well, there's a log out there you want to throw at it? We should be able to catch another one right here. I would think going down that bank, we'll make a few casts back here, but that windy bank down there looks pretty good. A lot of times in fishing, you know, we caught that big fish right back there where the water was. It's the last little bit of deep water before we get to the flat. Now, if I was practicing today, you know, if I didn't get any bites past this flat part right here, then that's how you kind of how you start developing patterns when you. So if you went down the other bank over there and you got a bite before you got to the very flat part, and then you kind of start running around and trying to put pieces of the puzzle together. That's what I've always told people. People ask, how do you dissect water, or how do you go to these different lakes? And I always describe it as putting the puzzle together. Whoever can put the puzzle together the fastest wins the game. And it's just little pieces all throughout practice that you have to put together. Sometimes things develop during the tournament. Yes! Yeah! Woo! There is some amount of luck involved, especially in catching big fish. But you know, consistency over time is not luck. Consistency is where the skill comes in. You'll see some guys that are consistently in the money, consistently making top 10s. That's where the skill comes in. Now, one guy can go out and have a big day and catch a couple big fish, but when you do it over and over and over and over, that's not luck, that's skill. And I think some guys just have, you know, a good, more God-given ability than some of us. You know, some guys just have a lot of natural talent, and you know, and I think I have some of that, but then I think some of it can be learned. You know, the more time you spend on the water, there's no substitution for time on the water. That's just how you learn stuff. And some of us that don't have as much God-given ability as the other ones, we just have to work that much harder and try to learn as much as we can. You know, I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm. You know, we were a farming family, and we had chickens and cattle. And you know, and one thing my dad started us off doing, we started working at a young age. And so, you know, as soon as we got our chores done, man, all I wanted to do was go fishing. And really, my mom is the one that got me started fishing. She bought me my first rod and reel. And you know, I grew up fishing all the creeks and ponds around Northwest Arkansas. There's not a creek around Northwest Arkansas that I haven't been on. And, you know, we're really blessed in Northwest Arkansas, and even in the state of Arkansas, we have a wealth of outdoor activities we can do, and we have a wealth of water around Arkansas, and a lot of fishable water. You know, you don't have to have a big bass boat to be able to go bass fishing. I grew up learning to bass fish on streams and ponds, and you can take a lot of what you learned as a kid and apply it nowadays, and I apply it nowadays to when I'm fishing big-time tournaments. You know, I always say there's probably 3 things my life revolved around when I was growing up. It was hard work, sports, and the outdoors, and you know, and that still kind of rings true nowadays. But sports were a big part of learning the competitive nature of this sport. You know, I grew up playing football and baseball, and ended up playing football and baseball at Arkansas Tech, and you know, ended up getting my degree paid for through sports, and so sports is a big got a big part in my heart. I just think you can learn a lot from sports and apply it to your job and apply it to the outdoors. But I went to Arkansas Tech, got an ag business degree, started 2 days after I graduated college, and started for Tyson Foods, and worked for Tyson Foods for 13 years, worked my way up to a plant manager. The last 6 years I was there, I ran the Cornish plant for Tyson Foods, and left that job and started pursuing this career. And I'd kind of reached a point in my career to where I was fishing competitively and working my way up the ranks of FLW and starting the BFLs, and you know, I had to kind of make a decision whether I was going to try to pursue a full-time career or pursue a full-time career with Tyson. And fortunately, my wife pushed me to do this, and she went back to school and got a really good master's degree, and kind of afforded us through some discipline investing, and through her, I got to try this sport. And she was my biggest sponsor all along, and my biggest supporter, my biggest fan, so I couldn't have done it without her.
Just goes to show you, behind every good man, there's a good woman.